Tonight, a popular Uber driver around Oswego has been banned from SUNY Oswego's campus.
Governor Cuomo will start tightening penalties for churches that violate COVID-19 guidelines. More on what those penalties are.
And President Trump is out of the hospital and back into the White House, even as we witness a White House coronavirus outbreak.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening and welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Danny Hernandez.
And I'm Brianna Lynn.
We begin tonight with breaking news. SUNY Cortland will switch to remote learning on Wednesday following a spike of cases this week. According to SUNY Cortland's COVID-19 dashboard, the school is just one case shy of the state-mandated 100-case threshold, which requires schools to move to an online remote setting for 2 weeks. There's currently no word on whether any particular large gathering causes spread. We have new information tonight. Popular Oswego area Uber driver known as Uber Josh has been banned from entering SUNY Oswego's campus after social media posts were reported showing him driving around students without wearing a mask.
Uber Josh is commonly known by students for driving on-campus students to parties and bars off campus. Uber Josh tells WTOP 10 the ban came weeks after he decided to suspend his Uber service to SUNY Oswego community following Oswego's COVID-19 spike. Many, including the chancellor, blame off-campus parties and mass gatherings for the spike. WTOP 10 has reached out to the vice president's office for comment, but have not yet heard back from them.
Governor Cuomo announced today that any school or church that violates COVID-19 guidelines could find themselves immediately shut down by the state. This comes as the statewide infection rate rose to 1.22% today due to multiple new clusters around the state, including Western New York, the Southern Tiers, Westchester, and the New York boroughs, consisting of Brooklyn and Queens.
New York City Hall Mayor Bill de Blasio says he is particularly concerned about 9 zip codes in the city that are designated hotspots, as well as 11 other zip codes his team is watching very closely.
But in these 9 zip codes we're particularly concerned about in Brooklyn, Queens, it's time, I believe fundamentally, having really looked at the data carefully and worked with our public health officials, it's time for us to rewind.
De Blasio suggested a temporary closure of businesses in hotspots, but Governor Cuomo decided against a closure, suggesting that zip codes being used to identify hotspots were too imprecise to guide shutdowns. He went on to criticize school reopening plans that were too vague and oftentimes did not include sufficient testing measures.
Better safe than sorry. I would not send my child to a school in a hotspot cluster that has not been tested, where I did not have proof that the infection rate was low in that school. I would not send my child.
SUNY Oswego has seen a steady decrease in COVID cases over the past as of today.
Insurance plans, and that Wegmans Food Market Pharmacy will be handling billing. Any students, faculty, or staff who want to flu shot will need to register online beforehand.
Two Class E felonies related to campaign finance misconduct. If convicted, they could face 1 to 3 years in prison. Warren and her attorney, Joe D'Amelio, plead not guilty.
She's known about the pendency of this matter for years now. Her position has not changed one bit, and that is she's innocent, and that she maintains that she did not intend to violate the law. She did not knowingly violate the law, and she's anxious to get this process started, and she's ready to go to trial.
casino in Madison County has its second coronavirus exposure within 4 months. The visitor who tested positive went to the Point Place Casino on September 25th from 12 to 2 a.m. and on the 26th from 5 to 6 p.m. The visitor wore a mask in the casino, but health officials have said that anyone who may have been exposed should self-monitor themselves for the next 3 to 4 days. The casino was previously exposed to the virus in June when an employee contracted COVID-19.
First responders were called to the scene of a plane crash around 1:30 p.m. yesterday after a small four-seater plane overshot the runway and crashed through a fence before it landed in an irrigation ditch. The pilot was the only person in the plane who walked away with minor injuries and was released at the scene. The Oswego Hazmat Team and deck spill response team responded after officials discovered the plane was leaking fuel. The FAA is currently investigating the crash.
Killed 2 people in Oswego County early this morning, according to police. The 2-passenger had rented a 2020 Nissan Kicks when their car went off into a rural road where it struck a tree and was set ablaze. The accident took place at 5:44 this morning around the area of 361 County Route 23. Authorities still do not know what caused the crash and have not identified the victims, but believe that both victims were in their 20s.
A North Syracuse elementary school will be going remote tomorrow as an employee has tested positive for the coronavirus. The positive case was reported late today at Bear Road Elementary School. The Onondaga Health Department will begin contact tracing, but has stated that they need time to do so. The district has said that other schools will remain open as Syracuse schools open today with a hybrid model.
A new Japanese restaurant is coming to Destiny USA. The new restaurant, Saki Japan, will be in the mall's food court where Boston Market was located before it closed in 2019. The mall was closed for several months during the COVID-19 crisis, but reopened in July. Destiny is set to open up other new stores, including the mall's first liquor store this Wednesday. Saki Japan, as of now, has no opening date.
Coming up, Trump has been released from Walter Reed Medical Center as his battle with COVID-19 continues, and wildfires continue to ravage in California.
All right, good evening, guys. Just taking a quick look at our weather today. Just want to take a look at our high temperatures first. As you might expect in early October, our temperatures were only in the 50s and near 60s during this week. But areas south and east near Long Island were quite warmer, but they weren't under clouds like we were. So taking a look at our satellite, you can see there was a lot of clouds in the central New York area. The area is clear to our east as well. But what we're concerned with is the areas to our west. As you can see, it's quite clear over the Great Lakes, central Great Lakes region. That will be moving our way tomorrow. But how long will this clear and sunny weather last? And when will our next round of precipitation move in? I'll have that update right after the break. Good evening, everybody. I'm Storm Team 10 meteorologist Michael Brown here for your weather update for the week ahead. So first, I just want to take a look at satellite again. As you can see, this area of clouds that was over the area of central New York and Oswego provided some precipitation that we saw today, but that is moving east. As well as these clear skies are also moving east, and that will be here for the day tomorrow. We'll have a nice, beautiful day. I'll get into the temperatures in just a second. But as you can see, there's more clouds further off to the west, which will be our next rainmaker into Wednesday. And let me time that. And then quickly, looking at precip, you can see an area of scattered showers moving to the east. We probably won't expect much in the way of rain throughout tonight, and we will be clear for the day tomorrow. Let me time out that system I was talking about for Wednesday. But first, I just wanted to show this beautiful sunset as quite different as we saw earlier today. The clouds are moving out. But let me time out today the futurecast for today. So this is overnight tonight. It's going to be clear, no precipitation. Just scattered precipitation to our north throughout the day Tuesday, but we will be remaining clear. Going into the evening Tuesday, clouds will begin to build and scattered showers will make its way into the area. Overnight Wednesday around 2 a.m., we'll expect more showers to come in. For your Wednesday morning commute though, we'll expect more showers, more widespread nature, nothing too heavy though, just moderate showers, moderate rain for our commute Wednesday. It will be around for the early noon hours tomorrow for Wednesday as well. And we expect that rain to move out late Wednesday evening. So just to recap the forecast for tonight, clouds will be decreasing. It'll be a mainly clear night. Winds are at south about 5 miles per hour, so fairly light winds. And just to time out your Tuesday planner, as you can see, temperatures will be a little cool in the morning in the upper 40s, but will warm quite considerably into the mid to upper 60s for our afternoon. Those clouds building in, as you can see by icons, into our afternoon and into the evening. And now taking a look at our 7-day forecast. As we can see on Wednesday, we'll have the rain around. And as the rain moves through, we have Thursday will be quite cool. Temperatures only in the mid-50s for highs. Same for Friday. But going into our weekend, we will expect showers around for the first half, but it'll be quite mild with temperatures near 70. We'll have to watch that and see if that number changes. But going into Sunday, we can expect temperatures into the low 60s again. And then going for the early week on Monday, we expect partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the mid-60s. I'm Storm Team 10 meteorologist Michael Brown. More news and sports after the break.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. President Trump left Walter Reed Medical Center this evening after 4 days of treatment for the coronavirus, doctors confirm. Trump will continue treatment for COVID-19 at the White House, but the president says that, quote, he is feeling better than he did 20 years ago, end quote, in a tweet he posted this afternoon.
President Trump says he's feeling really good and tweeted this message, don't be afraid of COVID.
I learned a lot about COVID. I learned it by really going to school. This is the real school.
The president spent Monday morning active on social media, tweeting a flurry of messages, many ending with the same word, vote. It's a sign the president is focused on the election as doctors and top aides focus on his health.
Though he may not entirely be out of the woods yet, the team and I agree that all our evaluations, and most importantly, his clinical status, support the president's safe return home.
Since testing positive last week, doctors say the president had a fever and his oxygen levels dropped twice.
He received dexamethasone, which is reserved only for people with severe COVID. So that alone raises concerns about his condition.
Even as the president is eager to leave the hospital, more members of his inner circle continue to test positive for the virus, including White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany, who tweeted, after testing negative consistently, including every day since Thursday, I tested positive for COVID-19 on Monday morning while experiencing no symptoms. The First Lady, also recovering from coronavirus, tweeted, I'm feeling good and will continue to rest at home. This as the COVID pandemic shows no signs of slowing.
I'm actually disturbed and concerned about the fact that our baseline of infections is still stuck at around 40,000 per day. That's no place to be when you're trying to get your arms around an epidemic.
I'm Mary Maloney reporting.
California's wildfires are setting another milestone, surpassing 1 million acres. While it is expected to rain this weekend, CAL FIRE meteorologist Tom Bird says, quote, I do not believe it will be significant enough to be a season-ending event, quote. The fires are now larger than all the recorded fires in California between 1932 and 1999. The death toll is now at 31, including a firefighter on the scene. Governor Gavin Newsom says, quote, if that's not proof point, testament to climate change, then I don't know what is.
Regal Cinemas plans to temporarily close all of its U.S. movie theaters that have reopened, according to multiple reports. Indoor movie theaters have remained closed since March due to the coronavirus pandemic, but select theaters were allowed to reopen in some states. Regal is the second largest theater chain in the U.S. Reuters reports that crowds have been light at the theaters across the country.
Madrid, Spain has once more become Europe's hotspot. As Europe correspondent Tomas Rodriguez reports, now the regional government in Madrid is trying to repeal a series of countermeasures imposed by the Spanish Health Ministry.
A series of restrictions went into effect here in Madrid, Spain on Friday evening, affecting nearly 5 million people across 10 municipalities. Now the local government is working to hold back on those restrictions. Starting last Friday, nearly 5 million Madrid state residents began facing new restrictions imposed by the nation's health ministry as cases continue to spike in the region, a measure that Madrid State President Isabel Díaz Ayuso referred to as an invasion into competencies and economic damage. Starting tomorrow, you will be able to get to Madrid from Berlin, but not from Parla. Ayuso tweeted just hours before the partial shutdown became effective in Parla, one of the 10 municipalities impacted. Although the measures are initially intended to last for 15 days, both the national and state health departments will review the progress being made at the 7-day benchmark. Now, as residents begin clearing the city of Madrid starting Friday evening, deputies were deployed to several points across the city. Now, however, they say that penalties will not be put in place until later in the week. Reporting in Madrid, Tomas Rodriguez, WTOP 10 Nightly News.
As the state government in Madrid awaits official approval on their appeal, they now have announced that they will wait for a judge ratifying the restrictions until they begin sanctioning those who violate the imposed guidelines.
Now let's take a quick look at sports with Brian Rudman.
Thanks, Brianna. Coming up, Oswego High School sports are back this week. I'll let you know when things get kicked off, plus tons of playoff action from the weekend and earlier today between the Hardwood and the Diamond. And of course, we can't forget about Josh Allen and those Bills as they try to get to 4-0 on the season. All this and more coming up after the break. You're watching WTOP 10 Nightly News. We'll be right back. Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Brian Rudman with your Monday Night Sports Report. Starting off here in Oswego, while the Lakers will not get the chance to take the field until at least the new year, the Oswego High School teams will. Tomorrow, the Oswego Buccaneers boys and girls soccer teams will take to the road for their season openers. Both squads will be facing off with the Central Square Redhawks at 6 p.m. This will be the first game for both teams as New York State high school sports are getting off to a delayed start due to COVID-19. Both teams will look to get off to strong starts in league play. Switching now to the NBA as the finals got a little bit closer last night. After being dominated by the Lakers in games 1 and 2, the Heat pulled out a gutsy win last night in Game 3 by a score of 115-104, despite being without key players in Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic. The Heat were led by none other than Jimmy Butler, who put up a huge triple-double, scoring 40 points, grabbing 11 rebounds, while also going for 13 assists. The Heat will look to even up the series tomorrow in Game 4, tip-off at 9 p.m. From one bubble to another as the WNBA Finals are also in full swing, as last night the Seattle Storm extended their series lead to 2-0 over the Las Vegas Aces, winning Game 2 104-91. Once again, the Storm were led by Breanna Stewart and Sue Bird. Stewart went for 22 points, 5 assists, and 4 rebounds, while Bird followed up her historic Game 1, going for another double-double with 16 points and 10 assists. The Storm will try to clinch the title tomorrow in Game 3, tip-off at 7 p.m. Switching now to the Diamond. As the MLB divisional round got kicked off earlier today, the Oakland Athletics went up against the Houston Astros in Game 1 at Dodger Stadium in Los Angeles. In a matchup of division rivals, it was the underdog Astros taking the win, 10-5 over the A's to take a 1-0 series lead. The Astros were led by Carlos Correa, who went 3 for 5 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. Game 2 is scheduled for tomorrow at 4:37 Eastern Time. Also a quick update on the late game. The Yankees currently lead the Rays 2-1. Speaking of Houston, though, it was announced just after 5 p.m. today that the Houston Texans have fired head coach and general manager Bill O'Brien. This comes after the Texans dropped to 0-4 on the season with a loss to the Minnesota Vikings by a score of 31-23 at home on Sunday. This disappointing start comes after winning the AFC South both of the past 2 seasons. In the meantime, assistant head coach Romeo Crennel will take over as the interim head coach. Crennel coached the Cleveland Browns from 2005 to 2008 and the Kansas City Chiefs from 2011 to 2012, going 28-55 in his 6 seasons as head coach. Sticking with football, as the New York Giants dropped to 0-4 yesterday with a 17-9 loss on the road against the LA Rams. Despite outgaining the Rams by 55 yards and controlling the time of possession, the Giants were unable to get points up on the board, going 0 for 4 in the red zone. Following the game, there was an altercation between Giants receiver Golden Tate and Rams corner Jalen Ramsey at the 50-yard line. It is unclear what caused the fight, but punches were thrown. The Giants will return to action next Sunday when they visit the Dallas Cowboys. From one new stadium in LA to another in Las Vegas, let's go to see if the Bills could get to 4-0 against the Raiders. hot in the process. They certainly would start that way, already up 7-3, and then Cole Beasley up and over. What a catch, 14-3 Bills. Raiders just before the half trying to get back into it, 17-6. Derek Carr finds the veteran Jason Witten, his first touchdown in the black and silver. Jump to the second half, 1-point game. Josh Allen finds John Brown right on the goal line. Looked like he got in. He didn't, though, so Josh Allen just going to take it himself. Little QB sneak there. They missed the extra point, so it's 23-16. Raiders trying to fight back, though. Derek Carr to Darren Waller. But he fumbles it, forced by Josh Norman. He's going to recover it himself as well. Run it back a few yards. Bills trying to put the game away here early in the fourth. Now 3rd and 1 down by the goal line. Devin Singletary, he's going to get the edge into the end zone. Bills up 30-16. Raiders would score a touchdown before this onside kick attempt, but the Bills just going to fall on it there. You see the refs coming in. They're going to rule it in the Bills' favor, so they'd put the game away with that one. They'd win 30-23. They are 4-0 for the first time since 2008.
And hey, Michael.
So just taking a quick look at the 7-day real quick. I just wanted to highlight a few things. This forecast really doesn't get too much more sweeto than this. We have a couple rainy days in here, a couple warm days, a couple cool days. But our two main weather days are actually Wednesday with scattered showers, especially in the morning, temperatures in the 60s. We cool off in the middle of the week. And then looking at the weekend, the first half of the weekend not looking so good. It is warm, but we do have some showers in the way. My pick of the weekend would definitely be Sunday with beautiful skies. Temperatures still in the low 60s, so quite warm. And then with Monday, the beginning of the week doesn't look too bad at all. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Thanks for watching WTOP 10 Nightly News.
Have a great night,
Stay
everyone.
safe and